So, hi everyone, and welcome to this LinkedIn Live on emergency first aid at work. Happy Wednesday, happy June. I hope you're all keeping well. A few of you might have noticed about a month ago, I did a post that I had actually fallen at the top of my stairs and gone flying actually into this office. I lost my footing and I ended up with a massive bruise, and it led me to thinking about first aid at home because first aid at home is actually my workplace. And then it led me to think of my lovely client Charmaine, who's going to be chatting to us today. And Charmaine is a first aid expert, and she runs an award-winning training company called A Difference a Day Makes. So I'm going to have Charmaine on today to talk about the importance of first aid, because I realized even after my fall in my house that I didn't even have a first aid box. Luckily, all my bruises are gone. I had a chat with Charmaine and other people and got great advice. And yeah, I just thought it would be a great idea to talk about the importance of first aid in the workplace, because yes, often it's an oversight, but it is so vital that we know how to like look after ourselves and help each other. So I'm just going to quickly stick on a few banners before I bring up the lovely Charmaine. If you are here today and you're watching live, don't be shy, come along, say hi, let us know where you are in the world. Even if you're watching on replay, don't be shy. If you have any questions at all for Charmaine, please ask them, and don't be shy to connect with either of us. If people don't know who I am, I'm Jen Corcoran. I'm a LinkedIn consultant for female coaches, creatives, and consultants, especially introverts and empaths. And yeah, I love chatting to amazing women like Charmaine. So I'm going to bring Charmaine up now, and we're going to grill her about first aid. So here she comes. Hi, Charmaine. Welcome.
Hi, Jen.
Great to have you here today.
Yeah, lovely to be here.
Do you want
Yes.
to, do you want to tell everyone a little bit about you and your company? I love the name of it, A Difference a Day Makes, and I know that you do a lot of day courses, and they
Yeah.
do make a difference. So I'd love to learn a little bit about you and the company.
Okay, right. Yeah. So I'm Charmaine, and Difference a Day Makes is my company, and we run health and safety related courses. So we have a series of courses that we deliver, and yes, most of them are done in a day.
Yeah.
So we do health and safety in the workplace level 2. We do a lot of food safety level 2 courses, the emergency first aid, which is our most popular course at present. We also do some fire marshal and also safeguarding. So it's quite a range of courses, and they are all accredited courses, but we also do bespoke courses for companies that would prefer something that is more tailored for their particular firm. And we're based in London, and so so we deliver training London wide, and we've been around now for 10 years.
Amazing. That's
So
great.
and we love what we do, and it is getting the information out there, and also we like to make sure that our clients are comfortable with what they're doing, and are when they leave the course, that they are ready to make use of the training that they've had.
Yeah,
Yeah.
practical as well. I think I know when I was in corporate, a lot of people are kind of forced into becoming the first aider or the fire marshal. I know I was forced into becoming the fire marshal. So I think it's really important to have like decent training, so you've got that confidence that when something does happen, you know how to take action. So I'd love you to share a few like real life stories and examples of first aid. I know right before we went live, you were telling me about that you were chatting to a lady in Germany, and she said that to pass your car test over in Germany, you need to have a first aid qualification, which is
Yeah.
really interesting. So I
Yeah.
was wondering, do you have any like real life stories about like first aid, anything that people can learn from? Because I know a lot of people will think they know what first aid is, but they won't
Yeah.
know what the benefits are.
Yes, so it is quite a big topic, and for some of the clients coming in on a course, I will ask. One of the first things that I ask is anyone apprehensive about actually delivering first aid, and so sometimes people say they don't like blood.
Yeah,
So they're not sure why they're there,
yeah,
because was it that they don't like the sight of blood. Others are nervous. They say, well, will I remember what I need to do? And surprisingly, we tend to remember quite a lot of what we need to do. But I also reassure them that at the end of their phone, when they call for the emergency services, the operator is there. They will be asked to put their phones on loudspeaker, and the operator will help to talk them through what they are needed to do. And one of those real life experiences is my oldest granddaughter. She was aged around 6 at the time. We were all ready to go off to Birmingham to a family occasion, and we needed to get some birthday cards. So off we popped to the shops quickly to get the birthday cards and then start on our journey. In the shop, my granddaughter collapsed.
oh,
I was just absolutely devastated. I was frightened and thinking, what is going on? And by then, yeah, I'd been a first aider for more than 10 years. And so I kind of breathed and then shouted for help. Someone from the store came and I said, can you call for an ambulance? My granddaughter's collapsed. I don't know why. I managed to place her in the recovery position, listen for breathing. And the operator was, is she breathing, etc. And you do get a little bit nervous and you think, why are they asking all these questions? But please remember, they're asking all those questions so that they can get the best help to you. Yeah, so within 5 minutes, the ambulance was there and they took her off to hospital, and I'm thankful that she recovered and was fine. But, as someone that had been doing first aid for many years, suddenly to be in that situation, yes, you do get nervous. Yes, you may panic a little bit, but there is help at the end of the phone.
Oh, I love that they walk you through, because I think you need that reinforcement as well. Like you said, you're
Yeah,
going to be panicking, even if you know. It's nice that you can put them on loudspeaker and get, just
yeah, yeah,
help you, take you through it.
yeah.
So I'm really glad that your granddaughter is better and she was
Mm.
actually lucky to have you nearby, because I would have been so quick to help her. And I think a lot of people in the workplace aren't savvy with first
Mm.
aid.
Mm.
I know I had training years ago, but it wasn't long enough. It wasn't comprehensive enough. I just remember um, chatting to that doll Annie and saying, Annie, can you hear me? And all of that's
Yeah,
kind
we
of
still do that.
yeah. But I
Yeah,
think
we still speak to Annie. But it it is a skill that when we learn it, as I say, most of it we will remember, and the operator is there to help us. And what we recommend also is that a half day refresher
yeah.
each year to just keep at the forefront of your mind what you need to do. And one of the things that I always say, that we're first aiders, we're not medically trained. And quite often you will get, if you've got bystanders around, that there is somebody that will have seen Holby, they've seen Casualty, they've seen Grey's Anatomy and
Yeah.
all the rest of it. And that's not the way to do it. But be confident in the training that you've had and trust the operator at the end of the phone that will help you correctly to check your casualty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I love that, and I love all those medical dramas. Although Holby's gone now, which is quite sad.
Yes.
I was going to say to you, that's a great point that you raised about the refresher training as well, because I didn't get that, and I think that's why I just forgot basically everything. So I think it's really important. And do you offer like refresher training to companies?
Yes. We also offer the half-day refreshers. So a little bit about first aid. First aid, it is the immediate assistance that is given to a casualty, and that casualty, it could be serious injuries. It may also be to minor injuries with the first aid. And we have a 3-day first aid course, which includes also some illnesses as well as the bleeds and the CPR. And then the emergency first aid, which is the 1-day first aid course. And with the emergency first aid, we cover the things that are likely to be an emergency. And then we always say, that one of the main thing is your casualty breathing?
Yeah.
If your casualty has as a cut to the head, but they're sitting there, they're crying, etc., they're breathing.
Yeah.
If you have a casualty that's a broken leg or limb, and they are holding that and screaming, they're breathing, right? So, but if you've got a casualty that's laying perfectly still, doesn't seem that there's anything wrong with them, go and check them, because if they're not breathing, that is a real emergency. And so this is where we want to open airways, check that they're breathing, and then if they're breathing, thank goodness, recovery position. If they're not breathing, then we need to call the emergency services and start CPR. And so, that is what we do.
I know, I like even that simple distinction, because I think when we see any kind of accident, there's that bit of panic and it all feels like an emergency. And I know even in my gym about a month ago, an elderly man, he was in his 80s and he was getting changed after doing an aqua class, and he fell in the communal kind of area, and he whacked his head against the door so nobody could get into him. And you could see the blood on the floor and everything, and eventually a young guy jumped over and they all got in there, the staff, the first aiders, and everybody had that sense of panic. But you're making me think, well, on the positive, actually, he was talking and he was breathing, and his wife was hysterical, which you can understand. But on the positive, he wasn't knocked out. And a nice end to that story. I was quite surprised by the resilience of him, because it looked really bad. But 3 days later, he was back at Aqua on the Friday, and he'd driven his wife to work. Like, he went off, the ambulance got checked out, and it looked like, everybody was panicking, because you see the bit of blood, and it's like, oh, and his age as well. But yeah, he was back and resilient and back driving away. So I think, the fact that you said if they're not breathing, that is the emergency, because I think you think everything is an emergency in the moment.
Yes, we do. And the thing with, particularly when it's a head wound, that because the capillaries in the scalp, really tiny blood vessels, so the blood going through that is very watery, and so it always seems like that, there's a lot. And so, yes, that we kind of panic because the blood is there. And so I'm glad that he was seen to and that he was okay. And and because, we always say the 3 Ps of first aid. First aid has quite a lot of acronyms, but our 3 Ps. So we do first aid because it preserves life. And we generally say one of the simplest things is 2 fingers under the chin, hand on head, tilt that head right the way back, and then we listen for breathing. So that is our first P, because just that tilting motion can help to lift the tongue off the back of the throat, and our casualty is breathing. So, yeah, so it preserves life. Secondly, it helps to preserve conditions and situations from getting worse. So again, with the bleed, we want to stop that bleeding. So, you know, if it's my granddaughter, the youngest one, she will show you that there's a cut on the finger and you're looking, but just cleaning that cut with a sterile wipe or some water and a plaster on it will stop the infection from coming in. If it's a bigger wound, we want some pressure applied to that and a bandage to stop you from bleeding out. And then our third P is that it helps to promote the recovery of the casualty. Now, I don't know about you, but, you know, generally when you know, we have a fall or something happens, we want to, as adults, we want to quickly recover and I'm fine, etc. Whereas if you've got someone there with you and you can say, look, it's okay, just stay where you are for a moment and let's, you know, do like a slow recovery. So, have you injured anywhere? Does anywhere hurt? Etc. And just slowly talk to the casualty and reassure them.
Yeah.
And with that reassuring, it actually helps to promote the recovery of your casualty. And so, you know, that's one of the great reasons about first aid. You know, you're generally the first on the scene. You're working with your casualty. If we do need the paramedics or the doctor, the nurse to take over with the casualty, then that's great. But, you know, you've already started that process.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. And I think even that story I told about the gym and the guy whacking his head, the wife, she was actually more upset than he was. And the doctor got on the phone with her and calmed her down, and it just made everyone feel better. So I think it's great to have that support. I'm curious. So I know you mentioned that your one day, the emergency first aid is the most popular. Do you do it for any particular type of company? Do they have to be a certain size or a certain like sector?
No. We generally say the emergency first aid is suitable for companies that are, when they've done their risk assessment, that they're low risk. But even so, where higher risk companies that they require, is it 3-day first aid, but then they will also have other members of staff that are that have just done the emergency first aid. And so was it, yeah, companies of any size. And again, the size of the company will determine how many first aiders are required and the type of first aid that is needed. Schools, they will have pediatric first aid, which is very similar to the normal first aid, but we also do some things with children and also look at babies. As first aid for babies on the pediatric. So yeah, we cover all of those. So if anyone needs any more information, yeah, to give us just DM me or send me an email, and we can have that conversation. Yeah.
And what would you say is your favorite like training? Is it the emergency first aid, or is there anyone that you feel is like super beneficial?
Well, I think they're all beneficial in their different ways, and so yeah, the main thing for me is being in front of the group and delivering the training, and at the was it generally when was it when some of the clients come in that they don't want to be there, they've just been sent by their company, and it's a day from work and I've got to do this, etc. And so it is helping them to recognise that the course that they're doing is valuable and there is something there for them. If they're doing food safety, they're going back into the kitchen or catering place that they're working in, and that they've got the knowledge and the skills to do about temperature controls, etc. And again, for a number of our clients, that they have never passed a test before. And so at the beginning of the course, when you say, you've done all the housekeeping, and then I say, because it's a regulated qualification, that there is a test at the end of today. And I see that
Panic.
Look on their face at panic. And, thinking, can I get out of here? Is there... And I'm smiling mainly because I know what it's like, because I hated exams, I hated tests, and coming the other side of it, reminding them that it's not just about passing the test, it's about gaining that knowledge and the skills that they require to be able to operate in their place of work, or if they have the additional duties of fire marshal or first aider, to be able to do that and do that well. And so that tends to help to calm things down, and and we have quite a high success rate of our clients getting through their tests, and and then also feedback is also has also been really good. And I always say I don't know everything, so if, the only silly question is the one that hasn't been asked. So please, if you have questions, do ask. If I'm not sure about the answer, etc., I will go away and find the answer, come back to you.
Exactly, but I'm sure you make them feel all very relaxed. You've got a lovely energy and vibe, and I know if I'd done my first day with you, I would have retained some of the information. So I think it's important to make people feel relaxed as well, like you said, because when you do mention a test, it's a bit like but I think it probably makes them focus a bit more and hopefully retain. But I was going to say I could speak to you all day about first aid because I know it's such an important topic. If people do want to get in touch, what's the best way? Is it to send you a connection request on LinkedIn or a DM, or I've put your email up on the screen?
Yes.
Any preference?
All of those are great. So DM or send me a connection on LinkedIn, or send me an email, and I will get back to you, and we can have a discussion and see how we can best help you, whether it's a full first aid course that is required, the emergency first aid, pediatric first aid. And I know that many doctor surgeries and dental surgeries, that they just require basic life support. So happy to have that conversation and happy to come out and deliver a course for you.
Amazing. And I know you mentioned at the start that you're mainly London area. Is it outside London as well, like Kent or Surrey or what?
Yes, I do travel sometimes to Kent and also to Surrey.
Brilliant. Okay, no, that's brilliant. I know a lot of my network are from London, so hopefully they're going to see this. I'm going to share this replay because I know you've shared such amazing information, especially even the 3 Ps. Thank you so much for coming along today to chat with us, Charmaine, because I realized after I fell and nearly broke my neck that I hadn't really considered first aid at home, and actually
Yeah,
My
that's the
husband,
other thing. Please visit. Do have a first aid box at home,
yeah,
and we say no medication in the first aid box. So no creams, no pills, etc. in your first aid box. But making sure that you've got some plasters, few bandages, etc. in your first aid kit. Your gloves if you've got to deal with any blood. And was it because it's useful to have at home? And was it, as we say, although it's called first aid at work, it's not just for workplace. Everywhere that we go.
yeah. Yeah. Do you ever do, just before we wrap up, do you ever do any first aid training in like co-working sessions, co-working spaces? I don't know if you've done that.
I haven't. Though no, was that I haven't done any co-working spaces, but
Yeah,
yeah,
because that would
there's
be something, yeah, to consider. Because I know, even in Exeter, there's a few, and when I lived in London and Croydon, there was quite a few that had, 50 to 100 freelancers there, so quite a lot of people. So yeah, maybe an opportunity.
maybe another opening there.
But thank you so much for coming on. I can see we've got
Thank
somebody
you.
lovely. Joyce has said great work, very insightful, and I agree. Charmaine is amazing. Thank you, Joyce. Thanks for listening. I know somebody else is on here and they're saying great open discussion. Thank you. Sometimes on LinkedIn with StreamYard, it doesn't show your name. So thank you, whoever you are. I find sometimes it's a bit clunky, but then I can look at the LinkedIn Live, the replay after, and I'll see your name. So don't worry, we'll find out who you are. We appreciate you being here today and listening. Don't be shy to reach out to Charmaine. As you've heard, she's amazing. She covers so many things in terms of first aid, and all companies, I was gonna say most, but all companies need first aid and this kind of support, even if it is the refresher. So don't be shy to connect with her. And yeah, we just want to wish you a lovely Wednesday. Hope it's nice and sunny wherever you are. And yeah, any final words, Charmaine, before I click us off?
That's it. Thanks. Thanks for having me on. And again, if you have any questions, any further questions, then do reach out and contact, and I will be happy to answer. And yeah, and also happy to come and deliver a course for you.
Brilliant. So that nice comment from Jenny as well. Thanks, Jenny. Thanks everybody for listening. We appreciate you. Have a great day. We'll see you on LinkedIn. Thanks, Charmaine.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.